I've tried misters, I've tried spray bottles, I've tried different substrate. And you know what? I live in a place that my room dries out way too quickly for my New Caledonian geckos. Until I did this. Stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Bobby, and today we are going to be going over a room tour. You're going to actually go and see Gecko Cove. Now, this is not just a typical room tour where I'm going to show off my geckos. That's another video. But today, I'm going to show you how my room functions. It's a special setup that I learned about because I've struggled with keeping the heat and humidity exactly where I need them for my geckos. If you've listened to my podcast, I had a great episode with Paul Morlock where we talked a lot about how gargoyle geckos and New Caledonian geckos in general, they need high humidity, but they don't need to be wet. And if you're in a drier climate, whether the outside's dry like Arizona, or if you're like me in the Midwest, where we're running our AC and our heat all the time and sucking out that humidity, it can be a challenge. It can be a really big challenge to keep the humidity up while also not just spraying our geckos nonstop with a misting system or a hand mister, okay? So what do I do about that? I'm always researching. And when I was on a trip earlier this summer, I was listening to another person's podcast, Anthony over at the New Cal Corner. If you haven't seen his podcast, go check it out. And specifically an episode with Geckosmitt. James, is an amazing guy. He's newer in the hobby, but he's coming up with some great ideas and he does a great job collaborating with other great minds. And I reached out to him after listening to his episode because in that episode, he was explaining how he has a similar issue that I have with humidity, and how he got around that was he looked into grow tents. Now, these are for inside vegetables, okay? But they really do have some of the similar, components that can work for us. And so after talking to James and seeing a sale online, I went ahead and bought one of those grow tents. And not only the grow tent, but to make my geckos' lives way more consistent and better, and my life way easier, I went and picked up an entire AI system for heat, humidity, and airflow. I want to show that to you today. So let's go downstairs. I'll give you the full tour, and then I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it. I've been using it for about 3 weeks now, and I'm really excited to show this off now. See you soon. All right, as we walk into the room here, this is my unfinished basement. This is the grow tent by Gorilla Grow Tents. From my research, they have the best grow tent. They have the tallest grow tent here, and it fits perfectly right underneath my HVAC system. I'm gonna start the tour off by showing you that you've got windows here. I keep that shut, and then I put my garbage for everything on the outside because nothing dries out in a humid environment. I'll also show you the brains of the operation. Got that hanging up here. But as you can see, I've got the humidity at 71% currently. It's 78 degrees in there, and the AI says exactly what it is on the inside and the outside and monitors everything, constantly changing. There's different levels, so I've got different components plugged in and it shows the different levels. Those go from 1 to 10, and you can have the AI control that as well to make it as efficient as possible. So going back in here, got heavy duty zippers. It's just a box, so the other side looks just like this. Sorry, it's a little dark. And welcome to the new Gecko Cove. So as you can see, I've got my adult enclosures on this side. And then going down, I've got the heater and the humidifier right there with a fan. I've got another fan up here. I might add 1 or 2 more fans, but so far these are pretty powerful and doing a great job circulating. You can see now that I have it open, the AI kicked on and the humidifier has started to fire up. This humidifier is the largest model, and I'll link those down below. I am not affiliated, so have fun if you like these. But I fill this up once a week so far. All right, so let's do a little tour in here. In here, I've got my sea serpent rack here, 2 of them. I've got the 6-quart baby tubs, and I've got the grow out tubs here. I have some, right now I'm just using these mostly for storage, but these are the container store tubs. And I've put in the AJD vents. They look pretty slick, but there are no geckos currently in there. I just don't need it. And I've got more of those upstairs, which I don't know where I'm gonna fit them, but yeah, we'll figure that out later. I bought this nice little stool so I can work, right? Pretty easy, but you can see this thing going off. This thing pumps out and then this spreads out the humidity. It's beautiful. I'm probably gonna close the door in just a second, but you've got the heater here. Everything just kind of goes out into the middle. And what I love is right here in the center, this is the humidity and temperature probe. So that goes straight into the AI smart system. I've got it right in the middle of everything so that, you know, it's not right by the floor, it's not up by the ceiling. We try to keep it as constant as possible. Now, in my adult enclosures, these are all what they used to be. I do not use the misting system anymore. I find that that would just be kind of overkill since the entire room is at the humidity that I need. And what I had a problem with the misting system is that these lower levels would get way too wet and saturated, and these would dry out way too quickly, even though I had gaps for them to dry out and the vents open. So lots of airflow here. Again, gonna probably add another fan here, maybe there, just to really make sure that there's a great amount of airflow. There are vents on the outside. Now I have tarps that I put just for my personal aesthetic. Everything is the Mylar, okay? And it has a coating that will make it so mold can't grow on it. But I don't keep it, I keep the airflow going enough where there's no mold growing in the enclosures or in the baby racks, which I really like. But this is just, for me, this is just a little tarp that I bought off of Amazon. I bought 2 of them and strung them up here. I also have the lighting. So all the components really are from AC Infinity. So the lights are, the humidifier, and the heater and the control panel are all from them. Oh, and also the fans. So I really bought into that system, but so far I'm loving it, and everything's on a timer. And so it actually is so smart that it'll actually dim in the morning and in the afternoon. So it kind of mimics a little bit of a sunrise, sunset for everything, which is really nice. But I just like the personal aesthetic of this so that when I walk into this room, I don't feel like I'm in, you know, a science laboratory. I feel like I'm in the jungle. Oh, and by the way, I love this. I've had this in my gecko room since the very beginning of Gecko Cove. This is from Adeline Robinson. I love her artwork, so go support her. Yeah, other than that, that is the tour. This is if I haven't mentioned it already, this is a 5x9 grow tent. They have different sizes. I honestly am loving this so much that if I ever expand, they have a 10x10 that I would buy in a heartbeat. It's just a little bit more expensive. There's plenty of different ports too. I don't have these open. I have that one open over there so that I have vents actually behind this, like back here. There's vents back there that I have open, and I have a vent over here open. I'll show you that on the outside. But that allows fresh air to come in, and then the air rises as it heats and it leaves up there. So there's a constant airflow, just like you would kind of vent a tub or an enclosure by itself. I've vented this tent, but then I have the components kind of managing everything in here based on what it's like with the airflow. So far it's worked beautifully, but I'll jump back upstairs because I guarantee the audio is a little bit better. And yeah, I'll kind of explain my pros and cons. Oh, one last thing I want to go over is the baby tubs. So these tubs, I went back to full paper towel. I used to keep substrate in these, but what I found is that the humidity in the individual tubs, unless I vented them way more, which I didn't want to modify them, are just way too humid. They would get up and stay in the 80-90% humidity, where I like to keep it in around 70-75. So yeah, I'm having a lot of success there. There's a beautiful baby. They're growing, they're eating. And yeah, so if you guys want a tour of my babies this year so far, I've got a lot of stunners. Let me know, or my grow outs here. But I'm really excited. These adults are just doing fantastic. I've got 3 trios going, a few more grow outs on the bottom, some chewies that might be leaving me soon, and another a proven breeder that's not breeding right now, Mahe. So that is Gecko Cove. This is the grow tent. And then coming back out of here, just to close everything up, it's got a lot of nice Velcro, as well as really thick, nice zippers. So I just zip it back up. There we go. And it starts to regulate the humidity. I don't mind leaving that open while I'm working on it. The reason is that I want the air exchange even more. So as you can see down here, I've got the mesh air vent open here so that fresh air can get in the cold air from outside and then rise back up and leave through the top. I've got those open in the back too. So I kind of played around with how many vents I wanted to open up, just to make sure that the airflow is going without losing too much humidity and heat, so that the system would have to really do double time. Again, so far, I'm loving this. This made my life so much easier. I'm gonna go talk about some pros and cons upstairs. So I'm loving this grow tent. This is one of the best things I've done for my geckos and done for my personal hobby. A few reasons. One, I'm not going and misting these geckos every day. They don't need it. I keep water bowls in every enclosure. I make sure the water bowls are clean and changed out daily. But other than that, I don't go in there and spray them all down every single time. Now, I do mist every so often. I think it's good for them. I mimic some little bit of rain and stuff, but I had some issues before with over misting. I'd have some mold issues where, some of the cork bark would get that white fuzzy mold. And it didn't make me feel good. It didn't make me feel like the geckos were healthy. Ever since I moved in here into the grow tent, I've had no mold issues, right? Even pieces that used to have a little mold I scraped off the top, it didn't come back. And so that really shows me that there is good airflow, and I might add even more airflow into the system just to make sure that there is no stagnant air. That's my one concern with this. But I do like how the vents, I've got multiple vents that I could play with on the bottom of this. The grow tent really is made beautifully for the application of keeping geckos. It wasn't designed for that, but the plants, the animals, keeping things happy, healthy, there's some similarities there. So I highly recommend it. Again, the tent is a 5x9. There's different sizes, so if you want to go smaller, you could. If you want to go bigger, I probably will in the future. You could. I'd love to get a 10x10, or there's even a 10x20 from Gorilla. Now, other companies do make them. I just went with what I thought was more of a high quality one. And then I was recommended again by James. Big shout out to James. He was such a great help. He recommended that I go with AC Infinity for all the other components. So the humidifier, the controller, the heater, the lights, everything, the fans are all AC Infinity. And so far, it hasn't failed me. I can go on my phone and pull up the app and see exactly where all the levels are. I can change the levels. And again, if you get the AI version, each component that you buy from AC Infinity, there's levels. So level 1 through 10 of how much output that it's putting out into the environment. And the AI goes and controls all of that, so that my heater is running at a 2 when it needs to, not run really hot. And when it needs to really kick in, because I open the door and let a bunch of cold air in, all of a sudden it jumps up to an 8. And I don't have to control that, and that saves me a lot of energy and just efficiency, which is phenomenal. My geckos feel softer too. That's another benefit. I don't know if that's just, anecdotal. I'll keep checking on them, but they feel more hydrated. They're a little more active. They're eating a little bit better. Maybe they can smell the food better. I don't know, but the results speak for themselves so far. Really, really loving that. And again, I do this not for me, not necessarily. Yes, I want to make my life, more streamlined and efficient, but I want to make sure my geckos are healthy. And this, to me, seems like the best way to mimic nature in my environment, because I don't live in a hot, humid environment. I live in the north, in the Midwest, and it dries out, especially when you're running your AC. And I'm always battling we like it at 72. They like it at 78 or higher, for the summer. And so I don't want to run a heater in my house and make my family uncomfortable. But this seems to be the best of both worlds. I really do love it. No complaints so far, other than I will say I did have one issue with it being so tight, the zipper, that I had a seam kind of break down at the bottom of the grow tent. And these are supposed to be the best quality grow tents. Here's the best part though. I reached out to Gorilla. Customer service was really great. They were very responsive. They sent me out a whole new bottom. So that just came in the mail today. I'll be switching it out. But the other one is still, I'm just not unzipping it out of the way for right now. But just in full transparency, that was one challenge that I had, was that brand new, the zipper system was so tight that it kind of was pulling a few seams. But it seems like, that was just hopefully a one-off, and that this new one will be better. So I'll let you guys know on a future update. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this helped you. If you have any questions about a system like this, feel free to reach out, ask me questions. I'm not the expert on this. I'll let you know what I know. And honestly, also reach out to Geckosmitt. If you have not followed him on Instagram, go do that now. James is a great guy. He gave me a ton of information. Reach out to him, ask him questions. He's a really responsive, awesome dude. And again, I found out all about this by watching other people's podcasts. So go check out Anthony over at the New Cal Corner and watch him and Geckosmitt's episode. And in their comments, say that you're here because you saw this video. All right. Until next time, I'll see you on Gecko Cove.
Hey, if you've enjoyed this video and want to encourage me to make more Gargoyle Gecko content, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, share this with a friend, and maybe check out one of the videos right over there. I'll see you next time on Gecko Cove.